Great to have you with us and welcome to Joget DX 9 walkthrough. Today you will get the very first look at the new features and enhancement of Joget DX 9, so we can wait to show you what's new. Right, this session will be recorded, so we will share you the recording afterward, and please ask any question in the Q&A box. We will answer it at the end. So this is our speaker for today. Hi Hugo, Justin and Damien.
Oh, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I'm Hugo here.
Hi, I'm Damien.
Hi everyone, I'm Justin. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. We are excited to show you DX9 new features. Thank you, back to you.
Yep, so they will be walking you through what's new in Joget DX9 and to answer any of your questions. So let's just jump right in. I will hand it over to Hugo, our technical expert, to kick off the session.
Sure, thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Thanks, Nova. Let's see. All right, so yep, I think you can see my screen. Yep, so thanks again, everyone. My name is Hugo. I lead the customer success divisions, and it is my honor today for me to walk you through on what's new with Joget DX9. So as the name suggests, Joget DX9 is the 9th major release of Joget's low-code, no-code platform, right? So DX stands for digital transformations. And we are happy to announce that it has gone GA last month on 9th of September, right? So today in this an hour or so sessions, we will try to unpack on what is new about Joget DX9, right? So here we go. Right, so Joget DX9 is built with artificial intelligence, AI, in mind, right? So as we improve on the foundations of the last 8 major versions, right? So we developed Joget DX9 with Joget intelligence around it, right? So there will be interfacing point, intersection points where we would be able to make use of AI to assist, accelerate applications developments as well as upkeeping as well. So Joget DX9, right? It is built with these 4 key pillars in mind as well, right? So we seek to improve the user experience, the UI UX, right? The quality of life of the applications developers as well as the end user as well, right? So as part of the ongoing efforts, as with all other previous major versions as well, right? We continue to uphold and improve its performance and to meet more and more demanding workload as well, right? So performance and scalability, it is something that we have. It's one of the main focus this time around as well, right? So as we are in this ever-connected world, right? So integrations and extensibility of the platform, right? It plays a vital role, continue to play a vital role, right? In ensuring that Joget would continue to be able to meet your enterprise demands, right? As well as provide integrations to various platforms that you may have in your organizations as well, right? Last but not least, security and governance. It is absolutely pivotal, right? Fundamental, right? I would say, right? That's one thing that we must ensure, right? Before anything else, actually, right? So there will be improvement in all these departments, and we will continue to unpack all these features as we go on. So, like I said, Joget Intelligence, right? It is a series or a new product line in itself, right? And it would jive alongside with Joget DX9, right? So it would have tight integrations, and with Joget Intelligence series of innovations, right? So we would be able to enhance the deliveries of applications development, right? And to accelerate your workflow automations and productivity. So with that, right, Joget Intelligence, we would be able to break it into 4 major categories, right? So we will be highlighting each of these features now, right? So let's start with the Joget AI Designer, right? So the Joget AI Designer, right? You may heard of a familiar term these days, right? It is called vibe coder, right? So the intent of vibe coding, right, is to be able to use prompt, right, and in order to generate codes, right, that would result in end applications. So Joget AI Designers is similar, but it is not a vibe coding tools, right? But as you can see here, right, we are using prompting in order to generate an application. But right, it would be it does not actually generate code, right? It is actually generating something that is familiar to if you are existing Joget DX users, right? You'll be generating the entities that would enables you to continue to edit, right, through the likes of all our builders, right? So it could be the process builders, like you see here, right? It could be form builders, right? Something that after which you would be able to continue to refine them, right? So it is not generating code per se, but it generates something that is building blocks that in which you would be able to work on them, refine them later on, right? So with this, I'll take a pause, and Justin would be doing a quick presentations on the AI Designer.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Let's see how we can leverage Joget AI Designer to quickly turn ideas and use cases into applications. So in Joget DX9, we can now design an app. And from here, you might notice there's a new option to utilize the Joget AI Designer. From here, we can now create apps or even modify existing applications in Joget. Now, for creating apps, we have 2 options here. We can either use text prompts, or we can even upload files in here. For example, you can upload your process flow diagrams or sample forms that you have retrieved in order for the AI to reference them. For this example, let's make use of text prompts. For our idea today, perhaps let's create a procurement management app. Now, we can still add on more to this prompt. For example, we can even add business rules. So let's say if the procurement value exceeds $500,000, then the CFO should approve it as well. Let's add that business rule. So right now, once we have created our initial prompt, we have the option to either enhance our query, or we can also perform PII masking to remove any personal identifiable information or keywords that we do not want. In this case, let's try to enhance our query, and the AI will read our prompt to come up with a better description of our idea. So from here, it articulates that it wants a procurement management application, and it also understands our business rule in here. Let's go ahead and continue. At this point in time, we are going to create an initial process proposal. This is going to give us the steps that's involved of this procurement management application. Now, if we wish to make any changes at any point of time, we can continue to refine it via text prompts, or we can also continue to generate the forms and participants. We're going to click this. At this point of time, the AI has identified that we have a procurement request form that's involved, and these are the different parties that are involved within our process flow, which is the department head, procurement officer, procurement manager, and CFO as well. From here, let's start generating the process design. Let's give a moment for our AI to work its magic. Excellent. So the AI has worked this magic. Let's quickly inspect the process design to see Has it generated all of the necessary steps correctly? So from here, we can actually see that we have all the necessary participants from the department head, procurement officer, procurement manager, and the CFO. And if we take a look at the process flow, it also has created our business rule as we wished. So if the value of the procurement exceeds $500,000, then it must also go through the CFO to review the procurement application. Now, once we're satisfied with the process design, we can now go ahead and generate the forms necessary. Excellent. From this screening here, the AI is trying to inference from various sources to come up with what is our desired form. Now, of course, if we wish to add more fields or modify the form or even replace it, we have that option as well. Why not? Let's try to replace this procurement request form with another form that we already have. So to quickly show you how this form looks like, from here, this is just a sample purchase request form. So it asks for the various details like vendor, the company, its address and telephone number. It also asks for who's requesting it, the department, and all the other details necessary. Let's try to use this form instead. So from here, let's go ahead and click replace. And it's going to ask us for a file or even a text prompt. In this case, we can now upload a file and we select our purchase request form and send it to the AI to work its magic. And here we go. Now the AI has used our form image to generate this form design. We can inspect it to see if it's to our liking. And as we can see, it managed to pick up all of the necessary fields like vendor information and all of its necessary fields like company, address, city, state, and etc. It also managed to pick up on the requester's details, and it also understands that since procurement can involve several items, it also created a grid element for us. So since we're satisfied with this design, we can now click Create App to complete it. And finally, we should give this a meaningful app name. Now, once we saved our app, the AI will work its magic to provide us the necessary components like the form, the list, the UI, and the process. If you took a quick look in here, this is the process design that was generated previously, and we can still continue to modify the process design to our liking to suit our business requirements. Also, if we go to the form that was generated, we can also see that this is the form design that we have previously uploaded, and we can also continue to modify to suit our exact needs. Now, where can we find the Joget AI Designer? Let me show you. We can go to the Joget Marketplace to download plugins. From the Joget Marketplace, we need to head to Joget Intelligence, and you can find all of our plugins within the Joget Intelligence AI suite. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Justin. So moving on, so that's the first piece of the Joget Intelligence lineup. Moving on next, right? We also have the AI Agent Builder. The intent, as what we all know, right? The definitions of agent here, right? It is used to solve or to build a flow, right? As an agent, right? In order to solve very specific workload or task, right? So as we can see here, right? A sneak peek of this, we are using a agent builder here in order to play the role of a research analyst and a tech writer in here, right? So this is building the agent workflow here, right? So next, I would like to invite Damien, right, in order to also perform a short demonstrations on the usage of the Joget AI Agent Builder.
Everyone, today we are introducing our Joget AI Agent Builder. You can download and install it manually from our Joget Marketplace, or you can also install it directly from the app composer in DX9 by clicking on this link and search for agent. Since I already have it installed, it's appearing under the installed section. Once you have installed it, you can find a new AI Agent Builder section under your App Composer. We are going to go through a simple agent that we have built to demonstrate its capabilities. So this news agent is going to gather news from various sources and save them into the local database. So like any other builders, it has a drag and drop interface for you to start building your builder. In the first section, you start defining your agent by configuring the LLM service that you want it to use. On the left palette, you can see there are a few options: Anthropic, Gemini, any OpenAI compatible APIs, and also OpenRouter. In this example, we're just going to use OpenAPI with the GPT-4o model. And then there's a simple text prompt that acts as the system prompt to give instructions to this agent what you want it to do. So in this case, we are instructing it to be a news blogger that will go and gather and summarize news entries. So after that, you can see there are a few sections. These are the tasks that you want the agent to do. So it executes from left to right sequentially. So in the first task, we want the agent to gather news from various sources. So there's a simple text prompt as well that acts as the user prompt, that we are giving it the instruction to get to gather a maximum of 10 news entries and also some important notes to take note of when calling the JSON API. On the bottom section, you can see two tools. The first one is JSON API. You just configure it to connect to a news API site based on a search term. Then there's another tool that connects to the Google Web Search API. So it's entirely up to the LLM to decide which tool to call. In the next task, we want the agent to check the result from the previous task against the local database and check whether the news entries exist or not. Right, so we have a simple text prompt as well to give the instruction. And then we also have another prompt that is supplying the LLM with the list data. So this is a data list that we have built in the App Composer that will list out all the existing news entries so that the LLM will be aware of the existing entries and check against the latest result. In the next step, we are asking the LLM to convert the result from the previous task again into actual SQL insert statements. Again, there's a simple text prompt that gives the instructions. And there's also another prompt that will supply the LLM with our form data table schema so that you're aware of what tables and what column names to use when it's converting into SQL statements. And in the final task, we are asking the LLM to get the SQL statements from the previous step and execute them one by one into the database. So over here, we also supply it with the database query tool that it can use to execute the statement. And then finally, we have an enhancer that will extract the final result from the LLM final response. So let's see how it works. So over here, you can click on the preview tab, test run. So there's an input variable called query. So for example, I just want it to gather news regarding AI. So I can click on run agent and then you'll start running in the background. So at this point, you can actually switch to the monitor, the system log monitoring inside Joget. So you can see it's actually start performing the different tasks. And then now it's reaching to the task where it's converting to SQL. And now it is trying to process the task to execute and save all these SQL statements into the database. Right, you can see now the entire flow has completed. If you go back to the preview tab again, All SQL statements executed successfully, and the total rows inserted are 3. Right, this is how you build and test run an agent from the AI agent builder. So stay tuned for more upcoming webinars for a deep dive session into AI agent builder. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Damien. Moving on. So that's the second one. So the third one would be what we categorize into AI bundle, right? It is actually a series of AI related plugins. So for the first one would be the ChatGPT assistants. So the intent of this is that we would be able to enable LLM integrations in a chat-like manners, right? So it could be used, right, for various use cases, right? So it could be, for example, providing a chat assistant in relations to your the applications that the users is using, right? So for example, if we are on a say expenses applications in here, right, we would be able to provide a chat, right, in order to provide contextual assistant, right? So for example, you would be able to ask what is how much claim that you have made this month, right? Or to seek help in other use cases, right? So it could be that it can be a assistant in order to help you, right, to answer questions in relations to building applications on Joget as well, right? That would be part of the AI designer, where we would be able to use prompts in order to assist in enhancing and building Joget applications. Moving on, right? So the next one would be the code snippet builder, right? So the intent of this builder is that we would be able to make use of LLM in order to send a prompt over, right, and to perform code completions. So with the code generated in here, right, we can use it in various parts as part of the applications building in here, right? So with what we have generated in here, with what we have generated in here, right, we would then be able to make use of the code in here, right, and use it as part of the applications building blocks in here. So that would be the code snippet builder. Moving on, we have the AI form field element, right? So again, it is demonstrations on how we will be able to make use of LLM or AI, right? So we have uploaded a file in here, right? And by uploading a PDF files, right, we would then make use of it in order to fill up a Joget form. Moving on. So as with new releases as well, right? The Joget App Center has been revamped as well in order to showcase all the new features that are available in these major versions, right? So in the new Joget DX9, right, we have also facelifted, or we included new demo applications, right? So we have the competitor research or a facelifted expenses claim, right? And also we have updated the Joget DX9 showcase applications in here, right, in order to showcase what is new in these new versions itself, right? Moving on, right? So Joget DX9, right, and with all the previous versions as well, right, we will actually allow integrations with other directory manager, but more on that later on, right? So in here, we are showcasing the ability to easily customize a login page, right? So here's an example in here, right? So it could be done in a previous version, right? Just that we have identified that there are frequently asked questions or challenges that our customer face, right? And therefore we have taken those feedback and try to implement it in Joget DX9, right? Through new interfaces or template design in here. Administration page, right? This is also part of the App Center. The intent is to show again, to showcase what is possible with the new versions, as well as to show all the vital stats from the platform itself. So this is the administration page, right? This is the design app page where there will be various links, right, to connect to the marketplace or communities, right, in order to enhance, to enrich your, increase your competency, right, in building applications related to Joget. So moving next, right? So this is actually my my favorite in here, right? We have the enhanced process builders that revolve around these 5 main features in here. So as you can see here, it is now of a grid-based design, and when we drag in a new node, right, it will snaps to the grid line in here. So as the applications may get more and more complex, right, there's a mini map in here, and there's also a highlight in here, right, so that you would be able to see where are the connecting siblings, right, and to be able to identify and increase the clarity, right, and hopefully would be able to increase the quality of life, right, in developing and designing your process, right. UI theme builder, right, is the next vital piece, right, that I would recommend you to check out, right. So what we realize is that individual customers would tend to want to customize it to their corporate's look and feel, right. So it has always been a challenge to be able to customize it, right, in the previous versions, but in these versions we are making it easier with the theme builder, right, because we have a builder in itself, right, in order for you to be able to visualize what you have picked on the right hand side here, right, would result in the preview at the center pane in here itself, right. So let's go through this demonstration in here, right. So as you can see here, right, we will be able to customize all the attributes in here, and it will get reflected immediately, right, in the center here as we make the changes. So with this, right, we would be able to have better control, right, and to lower down the turnaround time, right, in order to design it. And whatever that has been designed in the theme builder, right, it can be then applied in any of the UI builder of the applications. So it will then appear as one of the theme here, right. Then this will make it reusable, right. It can be applied to all the applications UI. Moving on, right. We have also revamped all the backend interfaces, right. So we have a more refined UI, right. So this is the app composer that will list down all the entities. So in this case, we are looking at the Joget DX showcase applications, right. It consists of various builders entities in here, right. So if you are new to Joget, right, this is where I would like to draw attention to, right. So in Justin previous demonstrations, right, so Justin made use of the AI designer, and what it has generated are these entities in here, right, that would then allow us to click into it and to perform further refinement, further design, right. Moving on, so we also have the new admin bar design, and the quick navigations bar, right, can now be snapped either to the left or to the right, up to your preference. So in the backend in here, right, we have broken up the settings into various steps in here to be able to better tell where is where, right. There's also a search bar at the top right in order to look for what you need the most, right. next important pillar in here, that would be performance and scalability, right? Nothing too much to show on the front end really, but here's the two screens that you can look at, right? So one being the APM, it is something that we found it very useful, right? And it is something that we inherit from the previous versions as well, right? The APM is very important because it will tell us what has been running, right? Once we have gone post live, right? So we will be able to see all the runtime data and to improve the application's performance by breaking down to the menu level and page level, right? So that will give us granular data. And then moving on, right? New in DX9, that would be in-memory grid integrations. So we are making use of Apache Inline, right, in order to be able to serve pages faster. There might be a short demonstrations on this later. Let's see, right? Moving on, another very, very important piece in here is that with Joget extensibility plugin architecture, it allows new functionality to be added into the Joget DX ecosystem, but it comes with a caveat, right? As in, new plugins continue to be developed, and there might be new versions as well, right? So with the Joget DX9, right, we have introduced a seamless marketplace integrations, right? So what does this mean is that we would be able to, from the app composer itself, right? So as you can see, right, it would then shows what plugin has been updated, right? And with a click of button, right, we would be able to update the plugin right away from the app composer. So it is the same, right, at the platform level, right? So if you go to the system settings, we will be able to list down all the plugins, right, that have new updates to them, and we can choose to perform a bulk update to them as well. Moving on, right? So the same can be said can be found in various places. So for example, at the app composer level, where we would be able to easily add on new add-on builders to it. So for example, what I'm doing here is that I'm adding the API connector builders, right? So into my platform in here, right? So as with the Joget AI agent builder, right, it is something that we can then install from the marketplace as well, right? So the Joget AI agent builder is what Damien has demonstrated earlier. Moving on, integrations and extensibility, right, has always been a key focus, right, of our platforms, as we pride ourselves in being able to integrate with various other platforms out there, right? So with the introductions of the API connector builders, right, we would be able to ingest a OAS3 document, right, and provide a convenience configurations, right, through digesting that OAS3 documents. Enough said. Let me just show you a very quick demo video, right? So this will then, you'll be able to then relate better, right? So I'm uploading a YAML OS3 documents, and you will then pick up all the definitions or all the methods in there, right? So once we have imported this document, we can go to various places in Joget. So for example, at the sorry, right? So for example, right? So at the process builder, right, we will then be able to point to the API connector document that we have just saved earlier. That would be the Oracle Fusion Suppliers document, right? So choosing it, then it will then reveal all the payload, right? Then we would then continue to configure the payload accordingly, right? So the API connector builders would provide us the convenience of authentications, as well as listing down all the methods, as well as its payload or the parameter as well. So that's the API connector builders, right? So it is a add-on builders that you can install it from the Joget Marketplace. Moving on, highlights, right? Again, a key highlights as well, security and governance. We have a new IDP and a revamped MFA feature, right? So what you're seeing here is that we are now able to support multiple identity providers. So imagine that you are able to connect to, say, Okta or to your Azure AD, SSO, all at the same time, right? So this is new in Joget DX 9. We can also support multiple MFA as well, right? So imagine that we can then enable the usual TOTP, right, as well as a email OTP at the same time, right? So this is new in Joget DX 9 as well, right? So as you can see here, right, so there's a traditional normal way of username, password, credentials to sign in, right? We can also log in with a passkey or using a OIDC provider. So, sorry, so the passkey support is available out of the box in Joget DX 9. So moving on, right? Again, this is new in Joget DX 9, right? We recognize the needs of more granular permission control, right? So at the platform level, right, we have added two new roles that would be the app creators and the system admin role, right? So first up would be the system admin, right? The system admin or system manager roles, right, would not have access to, as the name suggests, right, it is to supervise the administrative monitoring of the Joget platform itself, right? Therefore, it does not have the ability to create and manage applications. So whereas the app creator role, right, so its sole role is to create and manage its own set of applications. So it would not, users of such a role, right, would not have the ability to monitor the platform, right? So as you can see here, right, app creator or apps and system managers, right, would be able to take care of the administrative part of the platform, right, like managing the users, monitoring the performance and the logging, as well as upkeeping the settings as well, right? So these are the two new roles in the platforms, right? So this will bring us up to 4 possible roles in total, right? Where the usual admin role would have the ability to create app and manage the platform. So it is a combination of app creator and system manager. So last but not least, the users would be the end users, right, in order to access any of the developed applications that is built on top of Joget. So governance health check, right? So it provides the administrators with the ability to scan through the platforms, right? So it could be in the breaking it down into 3 main categories, right? So in terms of performance, how is it faring? In terms of QA, right? Does any of the applications start throwing errors, and if there's any missing plugin, right? And lastly, security, right? How the applications has been developed, and each of these items that we see here, they're actually extensible governance health check plugins, right? So more checks can be added in, right? So it will provide the as Joget as a low-code, no-code platform, right? End users, power users would be able to create applications on top of Joget platform, right? So the governance health check plays a role, right, in order to provide a security oversight right? And provide these reports to the administrators, right? In order to ensure that guardrails are being enforced in here. So in addition to that, right, we also have a product on its own, right? The governance centers. It is for larger organizations to manage citizens' developments, where there would be a provisioning approval process, right, in order to promote or to move applications from various environments, right? So say from dev to UAT and to productions, right? All these applications promotions would then go through the governance center for approval, and therefore there will be audit trails and approval flows being baked into this application itself. So what happens now, right? So if you are existing Joget customers and you've been using the now older versions, right? So you may be running on DX7, DX8, and you wish to try out, right, DX9, right? So good news is that it is backward compatible, right? So any applications that are developed on Joget DX8 are compatible with DX9, right? However, we would always recommend that you perform a quick cursory test to validate your app's normal functionality. Right, under the hood, right, there's actually been a few major changes, right? So Joget DX9 is now using Java Jakarta EE, right? And for the developers out there, right, it is a big shift in terms of coding practices, right? As we are moved to the minimum supported versions, right, now would be Java 17, right? That would also means that some of the custom plugins that you may have developed, right, would require a little bit of checking scrutiny, right, in order to ensure that it will continue to perform well with the use of Java 17 in here, right? So in addition to that, Joget DX9, it is using Spring Framework 6, right? It has been upgraded as well over DX8. So as you can see here, right, you can make use of the App Composer Advanced tools in here, right? So you can check what are the plugins that may be available to update, right? If you are getting them from the Joget Marketplace, right? You can then also perform a code review and making use of the advanced tools in the App Composer to review them. And for the plugins, right, Joget DX9, right, we will attempt to migrate them, right, in order to work with the Jakarta EE specs. But the original copy of your jar, right, will be safely kept as well. So inside your app plugins folders, there will be a .original file for your original plugin jar. So that would be it, right? So this is a very condensed pack main highlights on what is new in Joget DX9. There will be more to come where we would take a deeper dive into each of the features. Thank you, and over and back to you, Nuha.
Okay. Thank you, Hugo. We will now take a few minutes for a question. So if you have any, please just type them into the Q&A box. Right now, I'm looking at the Q&A chat. I can see numbers of questions. So I will read it for any of our technical expert here to answer. So the question is asking, is the chat assistant aware of the context of the existing application?
So that's a very good questions. There are various for chat-based, right? There are various approach and various solutions to it. So yes, short answer, yes, it can be made aware of the context of existing application that may require a little bit of configuring or tweaking, right? Because each applications would have its own specific domain knowledge, right? So short answer, yes, it is possible to be configured to be so.
All right. So the next question is, how advanced is this AI able to help us to build a Joget apps? Is it able to help us to make a bin shell code or a complicated SQL query for the data list?
Justin, would you like to take that question?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So that's a very good question, by the way. So the AI right now, it's only as precise as the prompt that you can provide. Of course, is there any limitations to AI still? Yeah, it's undeniable. There are still potentially some limitations. Like for example, if you are, let's say, generating bean shell code that involves talking to a proprietary system that's not otherwise open or not provided that information, then it's not able to generate such code, right? Because it doesn't have that information. The second thing that we also have to be cautious is if you're trying to communicate with a service that is secured. So if you have any credentials, for example, to talk to those services, depending on the AI provider that you use, especially if you're using third-party LLMs, then you may not necessarily want to send those credentials to the public internet. So to answer the question specifically, can it help you make bean shell code? Yes, we do have the code builder plugin that you can install into your Joget instance. But do take note that there is some limitations on how much, depending on the information that you can find online. But otherwise, thank you. That's a good question.
All right. Next question, does this version able to show reports on apps utilization?
Okay, I'll try to answer that question. I'm not 100% sure what you mean reports on app utilization. I may have to make some assumptions here. So assuming what you meant by app utilization is, let's say, in terms of performance, like how much CPU or memory that your apps are consuming, then we already have that feature available since DX8. So in DX8 and DX9, of course, we have the APM feature, or also known as Application Performance Management. You are able to evaluate the performance of your application and understand the level of utilization in terms of server memory, server resources, things like that. I hope I answered that question well. Thank you.
Okay. Next question, is Joget AI Designer capable of developing a real-world enterprise application if we provide it with a detailed prompts and upload a business requirement document?
Good question, Hugo. Would you like to answer that one?
Sorry, Noha, can you please repeat?
Okay, I repeat again. Is Joget AI Designer capable of developing a real-world enterprise application if we provide it with a detailed prompts and upload a business requirement documents? And what are the practical limitation or success factors?
Right. Great questions. I would say we aspire to be better and better every day. I would say we are working towards that. We are not there yet, right? So there are certain limitations, and we are well aware of the limitations. Right? So, for example, through the deck earlier, right, you can see that on the Joget platforms, we would be able to extend the functionalities of the platform by installing plugins. So the challenge here is that the AI designer, right, may not at the moment, right, may not know what extra plugins, external plugins that has been installed into the platform itself, right? So without the access to this information, it would then be limited to what applications that it would be able to generate. So that is one major area that we have identified, right? In order to be able to build more complex and sophisticated applications. Think of Joget as a Lego blocks, right? So there are new Lego blocks being added to the stash, right? And the robotic AI, right, will need to be context aware, right? Being able to imagine in order to build something that what the end users is prompting. So we are working towards that, I would say. So it is a very fast-moving industry in here, right? And our AI team is hard at work in order to improve its functionalities and offering on that. So hope these answers would suffice for now. Thank you.
All right. Next question: how to create a search feature for an element from grid?
I believe that was already answered, Noha. Yeah, I believe that's already
Oh.
answered.
Okay, so we come to the next question. Can we use a local LLM in Agent Builder?
I can answer that one. So the question is, can we use local LLMs in Agent Builder? Yes, you can host your local LLM via an Open API compatible API. And then you can configure the Joget AI Agent Builder, for example, to connect to your local LLM. So you have that flexibility. Good question.
Yep. Okay. Next question. What are the extent on the capabilities of the AI apps modifying feature? Is it strictly for AI generated apps only, or up to a certain complexity of an apps?
Hugo, would you like to answer that?
Sounds like similar question that I just answered just now. Can you please repeat the question?
Okay, what are the extent on the capabilities of the AI apps modifying feature? Is it strictly for AI generated apps only, or up to a certain complexity of an apps?
Up to a certain complexity. So as we keep building new features, right, in order to become more context aware of, like, for example, what plugin has been installed, right, and how to add that to the building workflow as well. So that there is limit for sure, but it is something that we are pushing the boundary as we go on here. So hope that answer suffice for now. Thank you.
All right. Next, can you deep dive into Apache Ignite usage?
Right. So
I can
maybe
answer. Yeah, I can answer that.
Go ahead.
We can explore that in upcoming sessions, perhaps. But I can give you a really short rundown right now. So what is Apache Ignite caching? So in short, it is basically a low overhead mechanism for caching frequently used items in Joget. It does not require any kind of configuration. It should be available by default when you install Joget DX 9. So it functions all in the background to help you cache frequently used items and your form definition, things like that. And the other thing is it is also a automatic cache synchronization mechanism. So especially in container-based systems, it will help synchronize the cache between pods to minimize database calls. And in short, you will have enhanced performance, especially when you are scaling up to a container-based system. Good question. Thank you.
All right, so we will be taking one more questions. It's asking, Joget DX9 introduced Joget Intelligence, which are AI Designer, AI Agent Builder, and AI Assistant as a core differentiator. So, from your view, what are the biggest challenges when enabling AI-generated process logic or UI design in enterprise apps, especially compared to the more manual flow in DX9? So, how do you see this being mitigated in real deployments?
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to read it. It's a bit long, so give
Yeah.
me a moment. I'll give my input for this one. Um, okay, what are the biggest challenges? So, um, especially if you're using AI to generate your process logic or UI design, as of right now, it will have precision only to a certain degree. Are we at the point where we are able to generate apps and immediately deliver to the customer straight away? I, I, we can try to continuously work on that, but I don't think even traditional methods of vibe coding is able to achieve that yet, especially when you have proprietary integrations to perform, legacy systems that need to be integrated with, or once again, secured APIs that needs to be integrated with, or set, or any kind of sensitive things in nature like handling payments and that sort of stuff. So I guess the biggest challenges, even for everything right now, it really is the precision of the AI responses, and in its ability to understand highly complex requirements and the different nuanced um, requirements and changes that we receive from our customers. Hugo, would you like to give an input?
Yeah, so we are also improving our AI designer to be able to work on existing applications, right? So you will be able to imagine this, right? Open up a form, right, using of your existing application form builder, and able to use prompting, right, or the AI designer chat assistant in order to further modify your form. At this juncture, we would think that it is best to say, for example, for prototyping purpose, right? You may have screenshots of your existing flow or your form design, right? So you would be able to make use of the AI designer to quickly go through the scan photo or the scan process flow, right? And it would churn out all the building blocks for you, right? Instead of building node by node, piece by piece, field by field, right? So by using the AI designer, it will really help you to accelerate the creations of these layers or building blocks, right? So that you would be able to focus more on complex flow or logic to it. So as we improve our AI features, right? So hope that we'll get that soon. Yeah. Also, like you said, right? In it also very much dependent on the LLM integrations that we have there, right? So we work with all the majors LLM GPT LLM provider out there, right? In the likes of OpenAI, Anthropic, Claude, because they are all using the same API specs in there, right? So it also, so it weigh in heavily, right, on the accuracy of the LM models, right? Whether it is hallucinating or not. So hope that answered the question.
Okay, we might take one more question. Is that okay, Hugo?
Yep, sure.
The last question. Okay, can we configure temperature and mix LLM more deterministic or consistent?
Very good question. Short answer, yes. There will be some parameters that can be configured. You can even use a locally hosted LLM, right, for bigger organization that has concerns on data security, right? So it is possible to even have it connected to a local LLM as well. So short answer, yes, it is possible. If it's not there, we should implement such a feature. Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for the great questions. So, as we now come to a close, I would like to thank our speakers, Hugo, Justin, and Damien, for the insightful walkthrough and answer the questions. And don't miss our upcoming webinar in this DX Nice series. We will take a closer look at Joget AI Agent Builder and Joget AI Designer. So stay tuned for the announcement. Before we wrap up, here's a QR code for you to scan if you have any inquiries and if you want to discover more of Joget DX9 for yourself. Right. Thank you for joining us today, and we can wait to see what you will build with Joget DX9. Thank you again and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.